How can a narcissist change? Most people want to know how a narcissist can change. How can they fix them? How can they make them better? And oftentimes it comes from this piece of high empathy or savior complex of like, I'm used to saving, I'm used to winning, I'm used to helping other people, I'm used to getting what I want even. There's all different levels of it. But at the end of the day, you can't make a narcissist change. Let's just leave it there so you understand this right out of the gate. You can't make someone change. And if you could make them change, it wouldn't mean it would be long lasting. It'd be like someone who told you to do something you didn't want to do, and you're like, I don't want to do that. And as soon as they left the room, you're like, phew, glad they're gone, so I don't have to do this anymore. Because you don't really care. There's not a heart change. There's not a internal to external demonstration of, I actually want this change. The majority of narcissists will avoid change at all costs because they're unwilling to actually admit that they're even narcissistic. And after that, they're unwilling to actually even work on those narcissistic tendencies or the narcissistic traits that they have. Like, why would I do that if I'm already perfect? Why would I do that if I don't think I need anything? Why would I even bother working on that? So just understand first and foremost, like, you can't change another person. You can't. Like, that's not you. You're not God. You're not going to manipulate or mold someone to be the exact version of what you want them to be. You can't do that. And that is not your job. The other thing I need you to understand is when we talk about narcissists changing, narcissists change all the time. Like, it's not like, oh, they change now and you're like, this is amazing, he's actually changing. No, he changes all the time. He changes and morphs and develops depending on the person that he's around. For instance, I would change based on the supply, based on the affair, based on the person that I was with. My music taste would change, the things I would say would change, how I would act would change, depending on who I was around. If I was around my wife versus if I was around coworkers, whatever it might be, I would change and morph to the situation. You need to understand he's already changed multiple times for you. He's changed to be able to manipulate you more. He's changed to be able to hide his lies to another level. He's changed to a different degree to hide the abuse from people in your life, from friends and family. And that's why people think that he's amazing. And you're like, wait a second, he's abusive at home. And everybody's like, what? I can't see that at all. Because he changes. And you need to understand narcissists change all the time. So people are typically looking for this change. And I'm like, hey, he already is. It's just not the change that you're looking for. Because the change you're looking for is actually not called change. The thing that you're looking for is actually called transformation. Change can be this external, this short-term thing, something that shifts and molds and modifies for a period of time. But what you're really looking for is actual transformation. Transformation is a permanent process. It is a thing that is changing, rewiring the person from the inside out. Like the morphing, like it's almost like the molecules of the person are morphing into a new version. And consider you have on a piece of paper, you have a triangle, and that triangle is 3 sides. It's a triangle, right? And then all of a sudden it changes, and now it's a different shaped triangle. Like one side's longer than the other. It's now an obtuse versus acute, like all these different things. Okay, geometry wasn't my fine suit, but you have different versions of a triangle, and you're like, oh look, it changed, but did it really? It might have morphed and done this temporary shift in the length of the lines, but it still is a triangle. Versus if you see a triangle and then you see it morph into a circle, that's a complete transformation. It's something different than what was there before. See, narcissists don't do anything different. They're just like, hey, don't want to admit anything's wrong. And as a result, I'm just going to change. And I change into the next version of me, which is still the same version. It is just a different mask. Okay, just like the triangle shifts a little bit differently, it's still a triangle. The narcissist isn't changing at that point. They're modifying and adjusting little things, but it's not actually true transformation. That's what you're actually looking for. Now, the hard part is true transformation can't happen without truth. Now, what I mean by truth is not just your perspective or my perspective of the truth. What I'm saying about truth is based on the facts. What is the actual facts of the situation? How is he acting? How is he showing up? How is he seeing that? How is he not seeing that? Being able to be confronted with the facts and say, okay, if this is the fact and this is what has brought me here, what do I need to change of my focus so that I transform? Not just have this, oh, can't do this, let me modify this piece. Transformation is built on the whole piece of truth. If you do not have a level of truth, there is no possibility. There is no hope for true transformation from internal to external. Because the person that's looking for this truth and this transformation, they won't find it if they're not willing to acknowledge the shit that's inside. Like the stuff that they don't want to admit, the stuff that invokes the shame, the guilt, the non-fun feelings, right? The icky feelings of like, I don't want to actually acknowledge that this is a problem in my life. So when a narcissist actually comes to the table and is like, hey, this is the honest truth, this is what I'm dealing with, I want to work on being honest, is there a possibility for him to actually change and transform? Yeah, 100%. The thing is, most people don't want to see that, and most people don't want to believe that. Now, is that rare? 1,000%. It's very rare. And the thing is, you have to be careful not to get sucked in to a future fake, not to get sucked into another lie, not to get sucked into another version of the truth to try to get you to stay or to be in the relationship a little bit longer. Narcissists will do this. You're looking for, can you actually be honest to everyone, but also to yourself, and transform if I'm not in your life? That's kind of the end kicker that a lot of times narcissists won't do. Is they'll be like, I'm gonna do this, but I need your help, but I need you to be with me. He doesn't. He doesn't. At the end of the day, if he is quote unquote changing and he has to have you in his life, he's doing it for you. And as a result, it won't work. Won't be long lasting. And as soon as there's an issue, it'll eventually break it all apart. A narcissist needs to man up and understand that if he's going to actually transform, he needs to put in the work, regardless if you're in his life. Because if not, this is going to continue to affect the next generation, the next person, the next relationship, over and over and over again. It's not going to stop because he's still taking his toxic self into the next relationship. And it will only complete the cycle over and over and over again. So you need to understand you can't change the narcissist. You need to understand that narcissists change all the time. And you need to understand that you're looking for a person to transform. That can only happen internally, and that can only happen with a level of truth. Truth has to happen before any true transformational is actually possible.